presidency. Because President Uhuru owned half of the government when they went into government. He was appointing his own ministers. President Uhuru could not appoint someone without consulting. And what did President Ruto do when Mr. Gachagua tried to do the same thing? He impeached him. Right? So you see, the great Abraham Lincoln said that everybody, anybody can overcome any adversity. But if you really want to know a man, you give him power. And even me, if I'm given power, you get to know the real me. You know, my rhetoric is here now as a person. But the test is to get power.
Right.
And when you get power, you see the real human being coming
through. Okay. One would imagine that as you deal with the geopolitics of the day, because we all know that the current geopolitical dispensation is that everybody is wooing Africa. Everybody is wooing Africa. And they're not doing it because they suddenly find Africa and its people pleasurable. That's not the case. That there's something that they're after. Good leadership would demand that this can be seen for what it actually is, and that not go to the people who essentially vomited on your shoes over and over again. France is a typical example of that. But that notwithstanding, the Kenya-France summit is happening next week. That France and its businesses and its government will come back and they will have a conversation about Kenya, who interestingly has been chosen as the spokesperson. They've given it a fancy name. But the truth of the matter is that Kenya has been chosen as the spokesperson to take the good name of France across the continent. What would good leadership dictate or demand that happens when another country is coming into your space, essentially to tell you that forget about all the things we said about you before, but we realize that there's a place that we can benefit here and give us another chance? That's what's happening, but we don't seem to see it.
Well, you know, there's this, I think she's Ghanaian or she's Nigerian. She's called Ama Aitu. I think she's Ghanaian.
She is.
Ama, probably one of the great writers of West Africa, said that we've had a relationship for 500 years. We've had a relationship for 500 years with the Europeans. And all they brought us was tuberculosis. They didn't have tuberculosis. We didn't have it here, Yes. Then they took the gold and everything. So we have to get out of this rhetoric of they took it, they did this. What did they do? We have to get out of that. That's a victimhood. We don't want that. We want to be Africa. We want a renaissance in this continent. I think that this French incursion into an English-speaking country shows you the desperate nature of the failure of the French Republic in Africa. And the very idea that they could not go to Togo. Togo speaks French, right? To make them the spokesman. Well, how do they want us to make them a spokesman? We speak English. It just doesn't make sense. And you know what? They gave their soldiers, they're bringing their soldiers here too, freedom from prosecution, like the English ones, The English ones have been raping women in Samburu. Did you know that? Well, mass rape. Okay. It's true.
Hashi,
they were sued in court. I'm not saying something that is controversial.
I understand.
They were sued in London
taken to court
for rape when the British Army installation here in Nyanyuki.
Yes.
Yeah. It's in the public record. I'm not saying anything controversial. They actually were sued. And the British government itself has replied to it and said, we are going to give compensation to those women. It's not new. I'm not saying, this is not me.
Yeah.
I'm just restating what's in the public domain. And you can Google that. I mean, people need to Google things to figure these things out. So if the British soldiers were doing that and our Kenya government was letting them go, the American soldiers come to Mombasa, they kill Njoki, they go back to the ship and go to America because the laws don't apply to them. It's kind of sovereign clause. And the French have applied for the same thing because they know that we are not militant. We are going to just, be nice.
Come along,
And I'm a militant. I'm a partisan of militancy. I believe it has a space in the political economy of our country. And I think that just telling the truth has become such a big problem. And can you imagine of those who are much more radical, who want absolute change? What will they do to them? I'm a liberal who is looking for a constitutional, parliamentary, legal way of change. If you get that underground, people are going to go to the underground as well. So I think that we ought to end our sojourn with these folks. And in a way, there's this guy from Martinique. Is it from Martinique? He's called Ahmed. He's I think he's Haitian. You should Google that before the show goes out. So Ahmed wrote a book called My Native Something. When I was in college, I used to remember these things, but I'm getting older now. So he said, I remember a line from that book, which says that we have a rendezvous we all have space in the table.